Frank Hannigan was born in Oamaru in 1879, an elder member of a large Catholic family. By the time war broke out in 1914, Frank's father was dead and his mother had moved the family to Dunedin, but Frank was working as a watersider in Wellington. He volunteered for overseas service from there in May 1916 and went into training at Trentham. He sailed for England with the 16th Reinforcements to the New Zealand Expeditionary Force in August 1916 and began months of further training in the NZEF camp on Salisbury Plain. After a brief stint in hospital for scabies, he was deployed to France in December 1916 and posted to the 10th North Otago Company of the 2nd Otago Infantry Battalion. He got into trouble when he lost his gas mask and had to pay for its replacement, as well as serve 3 days of field punishment number 2. The following March, the New Zealand Division moved to Flanders in Belgium. Frank was seconded to the No. 5 New Zealand Light Railways operating section for a few weeks in March 1917, and got into trouble again when he refused an order to leave a sergeant's mess after his return to the battalion. He was disciplined with 28 days of field punishment number 2 as a result. Frank was detached to the railway section for a second stint during the major Battle of Messines in June 1917, but was then struck down with illness in its wake and hospitalised. He also had a bout of influenza in September, but was back with the battalion in time for its deployment for the attack on Passchendaele in October. At 5:30 a.m. on 12 October, the 2nd Otagos led the attack on Bellevue Spur, a gentle slope in Flanders that led a kilometre or two further on to the Belgian village of Passchendaele. The advance began disastrously, with some of the New Zealand artillery fire falling short and hitting the assembled troops at the start line. Frank Hannigan may have been among these early casualties. A witness at a subsequent inquiry testified that he had seen Frank there, but he was not sighted alive again and did not survive the day's slaughter. The slope of Bellevue Spur had been pounded by artillery into a moonscape of shell holes that after days of rain were now full of water. Along the brow of the hill were German pillboxes, carefully arranged to provide interlocking fields of fire in a continuous stream across the terrain below. In front of the pillboxes were belts of barbed wire up to 40 metres thick and so arranged to channel any attackers into killing zones set up by the machine guns. The Otago advance into this forbidding landscape was doomed from the outset, the infantry slogging through deep mud in the face of a maelstrom of machine gun fire. The attack quickly petered out, with dead and wounded strewn across the slope, taking shelter in the water-filled shell holes. For the rest of the day, deadly accurate German fire followed any man who raised his head. No forward progress was possible, and by day's end, over 800 New Zealanders lay dead on Bellevue Spur, and 1,900 more were wounded. It was a disaster unparalleled in New Zealand history, and 37-year-old Frank Hannigan was one of those who fell. Like most of the New Zealand dead, his body was never recovered, and he is commemorated today at the New Zealand Memorial to the Missing at Tynecont Cemetery nearby.